Hello, my name is James Sederberg and I'm a CPA here at Elevation Tax, and I want to thank you for choosing us to prepare your tax returns this year. I want to spend the next few minutes or so going over the C Corporation Tax Organizer. And the purpose of this organizer is not only help us organize all of your tax information for your business, but to also help you organize your information and tax documents on your end. So this will allow us to prepare the business tax return in the most efficient and timely manner. So here's the first page, and in section 1, the organizer will ask for some basic information concerning your business name, EIN, and address. Section 2 asks some basic questions about the accounting methods and activity of the business. And section 3 requests information on the shareholders of the corporation. So if there are more than 2 shareholders, you'll want to attach additional detail regarding these shareholders, and you'll want to use the same information in that additional statement as what's provided here. So if any officer of the corporation received any compensation for services provided to the corporation, that information will need to go here. And then finally, the last question of the page asks if we prepared your bookkeeping for the tax year. If yes, you can skip the rest of the organizer, and you may also skip sections 4 through 8 if you are interested in us preparing your financials for you for that tax year. So we will get in contact with you if you check yes for that question. If no, you'll need to complete the rest of the remaining pages. So this is page 2, and section 4 is where you'll report the startup and organizational costs of the business. These are costs that were incurred before business operations began. So read this paragraph here for more information, and then list all the startup and organizational costs here. Section 5 is where you indicate the day your business began operations. The date of first sale is often used as the date of operations began because it is conservative. Other dates can be used, but we recommend that you keep documentation to support this chosen date. Keep in mind that merely registering your business as a corporation does not necessarily mean operations have begun. So I often like to think as an example that a retail store has begun operations when it finally opens its doors to its customers. So the date you choose should be reflective of this example. So if your business is still in the startup phase at the end of the tax year, check the business still in startup phase button. And then a return will need to be filed, but no expenses will be reported. However, don't worry, those expenses will simply roll forward and be included on next year's tax return, assuming operations have begun. Section 6 is where you report the income and expenses of the business that occurred after operations have started. If you listed any expenses in section 4, these expenses should not be duplicated in this section. So section 7 is if you have any inventory to report. So inventory is products that you have purchased or created with the intention of reselling it to a customer. So if this is the business's first year of operations, the beginning amount will more than likely be 0. If this is the business's second or later year, the beginning inventory should equal the ending inventory balance from the prior year. Section 8 is where you report assets that have been placed into service by the business. Assets are property that have a long useful life that is not intended for sale during the normal course of business. So while there can be any number of different assets a business can place into service, the most common assets we see include computers, computer equipment, printers, scanners, and office furniture. It's certainly not limited to that list, however. If you had any assets purchased, only include that information here and do not report it in section 6 where ordinary expenses are recorded. And be sure to complete every field for each asset. The final part of the organizer contains the additional notes section. We understand that the organizer is not all inclusive and there may be some items that are pertinent to your tax situations that is not asked about in the organizer. So this is a section where you can record those situations, amounts, or other figures. So once the organizer has been completed, be sure to review your entries for accuracy, as we will be using this information on your business tax return. So if everything is accurate, please submit please submit to us the completed organizer as well as any other additional documents you feel pertain to the taxes of this business. One example would be any Form 1099s you received. So feel free to either fax or email or upload all of the documentation to us. Thank you.